The Indian juggernaut rolls on at the ICC Cricket World Cup. India have thrashed South Africa by 243 runs at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Dave Watmore, Sri Lanka's 1996 World Cup winning coach, here with me on our digital set. Well, we expected a Super Sunday clash. It was a Super Sunday clash, at least for the first innings. It was a Super Sunday clash for an Indian fan. But from a contest point of view, one-way traffic.
It was a damp squid, unfortunately. They were completely outplayed as soon as that toss went to the Indians, and they decided to bat first. I'm pretty sure that everyone else in the dressing room would have gone, "Oh, we got to bat second." Anyway, they started really badly. You know, the four wides, very first ball, and then a wide on the other side of the wicket. It was a procession of just bad cricket all round.
How scary is this for other teams? Because we've seen, you know, I've tried looking at all the other World Cups. 75, the Windies didn't lose a game. 79, they didn't lose a game. Your team, Sri Lanka, 96 didn't lose a game. And then Australia didn't lose a game in 2003, 2007. But even then, those matches were close. India haven't been tested. And while some may say, oh, they haven't been tested, but that's because they're playing outstanding cricket, Dav.
Yeah, that's true. Look, you can't take anything away from them. They got a really good blend of bowlers and batsmen, and you know they're gelling well as a team also. So their team spirit is right up there, and it just flows from one game to the next And you know, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all, and it's going to be a reality of getting through this whole campaign, winning the Cup without losing a game.
And to be fair, does anyone even look like coming close and challenging them? Because there have been phases in matches where India have been challenged. But you look at the overall picture, and this is South Africa, the only other team where everyone who's watching have been saying, can India do it against South Africa? They're the ones to test India. 243 runs?
No,
that's a hammering.
It was a big difference today. I think Australia put them under a little bit of pressure early. Also New Zealand at a point or two had them under a bit of pressure, and I think if the real test is if South Africa bat first and then India bowls first to them, but I still think India would have kept them to a total that they can.
We'll get to all of that. But are we now seeing sort of a pattern? Because we've always mentioned this and we've always spoken about it, even on this show, that if you want to get at South Africa, get them to chase. Get them to chase. And I'm surprised teams like England and Sri Lanka asked them to have a bat first, which is their strength.
Yeah, they were just handing it over to them on a golden platter, really. Not just Sri Lanka, England did the same thing. It was just ridiculous decisions, and South Africa accepted it with glee. And of course, they're good players, and they made merry.
Okay, hang on. Let's look at this. Let's put this full frame. Let's look at this scorecard full frame. Now, when you look at this, you're chasing 326, and you get 83, and your number 7, Marco Jansen, is top scorer with 14. You've only 3 batters who reached double figures. This doesn't make for good reading. We'll talk about the Indian bowling in just a bit. But what does this tell you about the intent? Because I'm told we have an innings progression out there. And South Africa were never in the hunt from the first over when Jasprit Bumrah came out to bowl for India. In the first 10, they were going at 3.5. It dipped further, overs 11 to 20, 3.4. And just very sorry innings progression, what we are seeing.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure most people would agree that the first 10 overs represented the best chance to get some runs. And the same people would agree that it gets harder to bat once the ball gets a little bit older and the spinners take effect. So why not, show some real intent? Why not? Okay, you can fail doing it, but I didn't see any aggression in that first few overs. I know they're coming against a good bowler. you know, that's what it is. That's the challenge for an opening batsman. You bat for the situation, not yourself.
Okay, let's contrast this. We also have India's innings progression in the first 10 overs of this match. You know, it was always going to be India's sort of batters against a very good South African bowling lineup. To be fair to them, they had bowled well after batting first, where they had the sort of insurance of runs. But ultimately, when we look at it, India got 91 in the first 10, with the captain Rohit Sharma really going for it. And perhaps that was the difference, because you see overs 11 to 20, very similar to South Africa. They scored 34, India scored 33. But India didn't lose too many wickets. That was the phase where Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer decided, let's back off, let's respect the conditions, let's respect the bowlers. We'll find a way through in the end.
Yeah, look, that's right. You're looking at 91. You're comparing and contrasting 91 to 34.
That's more than they got.
Yeah. Well, that's
no disrespect, man.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, but that's the intent of Rohit Sharma. Quinton de Kock's just as good, you know, but maybe if he had not have chopped it on, he may have decided to flex the muscles a bit. But, you know, 1 wicket down's okay, but others got to come and show some intent. There should have been, I think, a real effort to maximise the 10 overs. Okay, if we lose 3
But that's what you said in our pre-show, in the mid-match show as well, that while there's no certain score you want to get, you put the bowlers under pressure, hit them off their lines, make the captain think twice.
Yeah, even if maybe a little tweak in the batting order might have done the trick, you know, just to show that they are being proactive and they are, you know, thinking about absolutely getting this run chase on a good footing. But again, look, I know they got good bowlers, India, but you got to try. You just got to try.
Rohit Sharma, the captain, giving India that perfect sort of start. Let's look at Rohit Sharma's numbers. I know you will all say, oh, Kohli got 100. Yes, we have spoken in depth about Virat Kohli. We will speak about him again. But Rohit Sharma's numbers in this tournament, let's just look at Rohit Sharma's numbers in this tournament. They tell you why India are off to this great, great run. In fact, yes, you have a semi-final coming up. There's 3 games to go. Overall, with India in the semis already, they're now guaranteed to finish top of the table. No team can get to where they are. There are 16 already. But you believe it's all down to the captain giving them the starts. His runs may not be as much, maybe 100 less than, say, Quinton de Kock or Virat Kohli. But the way he's getting their runs gives the players behind him some time to sort of bat themselves in.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, once that happens, it puts the opposition on the back foot, and pressure becomes, you know, a little bit greater as each over comes and goes, and you can feel it. You can feel it. Teams now come to play India, and they're a little wary now, you know, in the mind about, you know, a potential
shellacking.
Well, shellacking and, you know, breaking open. We're going to be hammered. When's that going to happen, you know? And I think a little bit of that today. You know, I think mentally they were not there. But
you asked me this in the last game. We were having this banter. And I said, I expect India to go for the jugular. That India should go for the jugular. That's what they did. They didn't make any change. They backed the team that they have. And now going forward, it's for South Africa to sort of figure out this evening, hey, hang on, we aren't as good as we expected. We've lost to the Netherlands. We got thrashed by India. We just about got over the line against Pakistan, a game they should have lost. Does that doubt creep in? You've been in these high-pressure situations with the top teams. Will these 11 who play today, when they go back to their rooms, will they look in the mirror and say, am I good enough to take on this Indian team? Because ultimately it's also fought up here. That's you always keep telling us.
Yeah, I don't think they'll say, am I good enough? I think they are good enough. But they just need to come up with a better plan. And all those 3 games you just referred to, they're batting second.
They're chasing.
They have to come to terms with...
chasing and choking?
Yeah, but it all starts with the effort in the first half. Like, maintain that, you know. Unless the wicket is just a complete road, But it changes over, when the artificial lights take over. When the lights come on and the two new balls are bowled in the second half of that game, it becomes difficult, more difficult than the first half. So they have to up their ante, up their game in the first half, because then they give themselves a better chance of overhauling that target. And that wasn't done today, Diggy. That wasn't done.
Hang on, you've spotted a trend, haven't you? You've spotted a trend that while we're looking very closely at the South African batters, in especially those two games, you feel that the bowling lineup, which sort of has been delivering a lot of wickets for them, it goes AWOL at times, especially when someone decides to go after them.
Oh, that's right, particularly in the first half. Like if they're bowling, if they're bowling first. A guy like Rohit Sharma, he's got the confidence, he's got the experience to do it. It takes a little bit of, a bit of courage, and skill. And I have to say that he's so confident at the moment that anything just short of a length, he deposits it, pull off the front foot and it goes. But they're under pressure. That's the whole thing is they have to get wickets, and they have been getting wickets, bowling second. So
when they're the insurance of runs behind them. And hang on, you've got 350, 360, 390, 420.
Yeah, well, that helps as well. That's right. So
one bad over's not going to hurt anyone.
That's right. So the batting team in those instances, they're coming up looking, geez, I've got to get a big a high 300s or a 400 to win the game. And so it's the opposite's happening now to them.
Okay, all through this tournament, we've been talking about two things: how the Indian batting lineup sort of compares to the South Africans, and how the Indian bowling lineup compares to the South Africans. Let's look at India's bowlers. Let's look at their numbers. So Bumrah and Siraj, in the first 9 overs combined that they've bowled, this is 5 of Bumrah, 2.8, very similar to what he's been doing for India through this tournament. But they combined for 9 overs and they went for what? 25 runs. That's less than 3. And let's stay on Siraj for a while. We've been critical of him, but that Sri Lanka game seems to have turned it round for him. He's getting that swing. He had a lovely swing ball, sort of came back at Quinton de Kock, was lucky to survive that as well. An economy rate of 2.75. 4 overs is what he bowled. That's 24 balls, 18 dot balls.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Totally different to the first few games, yeah. It's that Sri Lankan team that put him back on the road again. But
are you happy for him?
Yeah, very happy for him. I really like this guy. I wanted him to come to the Ranji team I wanted to play with, but he decided to stay at Hyderabad, sadly. Look, I think he's a wonderful asset to have, in any format. And he's showing why. Bumrah, on the other hand, continues to impress. Wicketless today.
That's okay, but it's creating
But
pressure.
he did his bit. I tell you, he really played his part in making it difficult for the opposition.
And he contained them. I mean, in the first 10, if you're getting 34, 35, I mean, game over. Chasing 320 on a wicket which you have already said was very, very difficult. In fact, even the great Virat Kohli said the same. Now, the next one we need to look at is Ravindra Jadeja, your boy. Dav Watmore loves Ravindra Jadeja ever since he was part of his team at that Under-19 World Cup in 2008. In fact, interesting stat. Just the second Indian spinner to take a 5-wicket haul in ODI World Cups.
In World Cups.
The land of spinners.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised.
But accurate.
I'm surprised. I thought he would have got more.
Okay.
Look, he's a three-dimensional player. When are people going to admit or understand he can bat?
He batted very well today.
Yeah, he can play, man. He's got hundreds in Ranji Trophy cricket.
Triple hundreds. Yeah. 2 of them, I think.
So, he really can bat, and he's a fantastic fielder, and he bowls beautifully. He's an absolute little gem in that team, along with, Hardik Pandya, who can do those 3 things as well.
Which was the better one? The one which got Shubman Gill from Keshav Maharaj, or the one from Jadeja, which got Temba Bavuma? Come on, leave your bias aside for a while.
I appreciate both. They're just fantastic deliveries. They draw you in because of the angle. You're asked to come forward to play it, and then it just leaves a little bit. Great skill.
But Gill's in better form than Bavuma.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but he had to wait until the umpire.
Yep.
That not good. You bowled out, go.
But Dad, we did talk about how we saw the Pacers, but it was also about the two very similar bowlers for both teams, Maharaj and Jadeja, and Shamsi and Kuldeep.
Well, in the bowling with the Jadeja's bowling second, with such a big total, he didn't bowl 10 in a row.
No.
Why did he bowl 10 in a row? Surely.
2 wickets for Kuldeep.
Yeah.
2 wickets for Kuldeep. And we also need to get in Mohammad Shami because he just loves bowling. The moment you give him the ball, there's a wicket somewhere there.
Yeah. 2 for 18.
2 for 18, and he's rocketing up that chart when it comes to most wickets in this World Cup as well, Dav.
Absolutely.
In fact, Kohli is number 2 now for most runs.
Yeah.
And Shami is coming up as well. And what, he's played 16 wickets?
16 now, 14
in 4
plus
games?
2. Yeah.
Wow, I'd take that any day.
Oh, surely. And he didn't play the first 3 or 4 games.
He didn't till Hardik got injured in that game against Bangladesh in Pune. So the first 4 games he didn't play.
Yeah.
Okay. Just looking at the Indians now, before we get to Kohli, that's what you want to hear, I know. Just looking at where they are, would they now consider resting some personnel ahead of that next game, which is next Sunday, the last game of the group stage, and that's Netherlands?
Yeah, it's a long time, isn't it? 7 days. I didn't realise it was that long.
It's a week.
I was thinking, it's a long tournament, 9 games plus 2. It's 11. There must be some players there that are a little jaded, to...
Would you send them home and ask them, okay, it's Sunday, go home, let's reassemble on Friday? There are 2 hours everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. No, there's every chance they can easily do that to ensure that they are totally refreshed and, recuperate with the families. But I would think there's a good reason for that to happen. 3 or maybe even 4. All of those reserves to have a game, but everyone report back a couple of days before.
A couple of things: don't do adventure sport, don't drive on the expressway at 200, and don't play golf.
And especially riding on the back of a cart.
Golf cart, yes.
Golf cart, yeah. No, look, I think...
But that should help, because I think one good thing we're seeing about this Indian team is the fact that over the last 1 year, they prioritised the World Cup, rested the key players. That's why they're all there. They're all hungry. And a break like this with 7 days, there's no point sitting and seeing each other's face. They're not going to train in Bengaluru. Or perhaps just get all the families into Bengaluru and say, everyone come in there. But perhaps they want to go home.
I think so.
Just be around family.
Yeah, to recharge and everything, just a different scenery.
But how crucial is that? How does it help, even if it's for 3 days?
Well, I think it's important, when you have the opportunity and if there's a need for it. That's what I'm saying. And again, that will only you'll know that when you talk to the individual. It's not a case of a coach and a captain deciding he will have a rest. I think you need to have that dialogue, and then go ahead and make that decision. I'm sure it'll come to a consensus, and everyone will be on the same page, and it'll be really good for the whole team.
Okay. Would you give Virat Kohli a rest?
I don't think so. No, I'm sure he'd want to keep going. I'm sure he's really fit and he's doing well. He wants to continue. I'm sure he'll want to continue.
Okay. Since I brought up Kohli, let's talk Kohli, because the great man got his 49th ODI century. Puts him level with many people consider the god of cricket, the great Sachin Tendulkar. And Dave Watmore believes this is one of his better hundreds. Not the ones where he's flaying the bowling all over the park on flat decks where nothing works. He had to work his backside off for this 100. That's what you were telling me.
Well, that's right. With a strike rate of, only I think 83.
Yeah.
And he came in to bat. He took strike, I think...
60 for one?
Sixth over or something?
Yeah.
Can you believe he batted for 44 overs, nearly, and only get 101?
Yeah.
That shows you the difficulty of the pitch. I mean, half a better surface, he'd be getting 150. So that was a really tough effort to play on that particular surface. So, in my opinion, that's as good as most of his hundreds, I would have thought.
We have those numbers actually. Oh, this is his wagon wheel. So this is a difficult pitch, and as Dav was saying, obviously on a difficult pitch where you can't sort of score freely, you can't drive or hit through the line, you play square of the wicket. And that's what, 24 on that side, 25 on between this is mid-wicket and...
Square leg, mid-wicket.
Mid-wicket,
yeah. So you can see.
And they tried to frustrate him as well, didn't they? And we heard him say at the end of that first innings that the message for the team, with a lot of fans critical saying, oh, he didn't score as freely as Rohit. But he was told by the management, by Rahul Dravid and everyone, stay till the end. Because it's important you stay till the end.
I'm sure he would have come to the same conclusion. He's been around long enough to know, hey, this can't. This is not a normal wicket. We have to take it easy. We have to treat this with a little bit like a test match, like he did in the Chennai
game against Australia.
Right. So let's just rein it in and play percentage cricket. And the longer you stay there, the more loose balls you will get. And that's what happened. It's a wonderful partnership of 134 with Shreyas Iyer. And that's set the platform for a little bit of acceleration from two of those boys, Sky and...
Jadeja, your boy.
Ravindra.
Okay.
Jadeja, yeah.
But then let's look at those numbers. Let's look at the most hundreds in one-day cricket. We just saw that graphics come up. And yes... But what a list. Rohit Sharma, Ricky Ponting, Sana Jayasuriya. All greats of the game. And for him to be up there shows that hunger, because unlike a Jayasuriya who would thrash the ball everywhere, unlike a Ponting who was brutal, who could destroy bowling attacks, Rohit Sharma, similar, brutal. The Kohli template of playing one-day cricket, as one of our viewers mentioned, is that he's understood how to construct a 50-over innings. A lot of players, like, say, the Dashers, who we remember very well, Jayasuriya, Afridi, Sehwag, they were very different to Kohli, because Kohli's innings, he's not bustling the ball like a Heinrich Klaassen or a Miller or a Maxwell. He's running hard. He's what? 6 or 7, 8 boundaries this game, 10 boundaries. The rest, 61 runs. He's run.
Certain batsmen are different. So that's, you've very artfully described the difference between some of these players. But he's grooved it out. He's worked out his own way of performing. And it happens normally with a lot more flair. But today wasn't, and which shows you the calibre of the skill in his and the discipline in his mind to play according to the conditions. But 49 now he's equalled Sachin Tendulkar. He's got, I think, he can easily go way past that for ODIs, and it's going to be a very difficult job to catch him in the future.
He's got, 500s in the last 12 months? There was that lean phase between November 2019 till last year. And I think the first one he got, and then the floodgates opened as well. There was a time last year people were saying it's time to drop Kohli.
Yep.
Where are they now? You don't drop Klaas?
No, that's right. Klaas is
but let's go back, 49. We'll just get to this. Let's go back, 49. Where do you think he'll finish? Because we were talking in the morning. And the way he's going, the fitness levels that he has, he could end up playing the next ODI World Cup as well.
Yeah, if he's managed properly.
If he's managed properly. But he knows, he's the best judge of that.
And if his form's okay as well, that's the other thing. Fitness, form. Fitness, form. Two of those going well, I think he can easily go. And you manage it, he can easily go on for another 4 years.
Okay, let's look at Kohli's ODI numbers. And we did the math. That's 175 innings faster than the great Sachin.
Yes.
49.
Yes.
175. People don't play those many games in their careers.
How do you explain that?
You explain. You're the expert. Because you've seen him. I think it's important to put this out that Dav saw Virat Kohli when he was 18, 19, and that Under-19 World Cup. That was 2008. We are 2023, 15 years later. How have you seen him evolve?
That's right. It has to be a very tough focus on achieving. That's what I would say. Just a relentless drive, and nothing stopping you from achieving what you really want to achieve. And he's tough. He's tough on himself, and he's tough on the opposition. And it's a matter of, can we say, when rather than if. And I think that comes through. He's totally focused. You have to be, otherwise you can't, return those sort of figures.
Okay, I don't like comparing players, but perhaps if you look at different sports, Dav, he has the ability. He's a bit of a bruiser, isn't he? He likes a brawl. He feeds off it. You know what comes to my mind when I look at Virat Kohli? It reminds me a lot of Novak Djokovic. Do you get the same feeling? Two outstanding players who burst on at the same time, who've then evolved their games. And Djokovic was this fun-loving guy, dubbed the Joker, and then the evolution happened and he became this single-minded determination to win, single-minded determination to take down Federer and Nadal, and now he's sitting on 24 Grand Slam singles titles. It was similar to Virat Kohli as well, because you said he made that effort within to lose weight and sort of do a lot of other things, focus on his fitness.
Yeah, a lot of sacrifice, but that losing the weight thing to me was clearly, the time where it changed, where people should have known that he's dead set, fair income about doing something here. And that really, was the reason why he was totally focused on achieving.
There's something else you told me as well, that while everyone wants to be fit, he's preparing in a different way in terms of his fitness. You think he's preparing like a marathon runner. The endurance, he's building his endurance, because that's why you see him in the 90s running and getting those twos like he's in the first 10 balls of his innings. And we haven't seen too many players do that. Because one of the great abilities of Virat Kohli to get these hundreds is because he's not tiring. You see these conditions at 70, 80, you start tiring. Yeah. But he looks as fresh as a daisy.
And also, when you're chasing, it's after 50 overs on the field.
Yes.
So it's an endurance game, and it's also a game where you're required to do short bursts of energy. You're running between wickets, and then you have a break. You do that many times in a 50-over game if you're getting runs. If you're a bowler, it's the length of your run-up and a huge effort to bowl, and you repeat 6 times. 10 overs of that. So but because you played over a long time, you need a good base of what they call aerobic fitness. So you're able to, still be pretty fit at the end of the 50 overs as you were at the start. Particularly when you're batting second, having been on your feet for 50 overs. That's a big requirement to be fit to do that.
And some of the conditions at this World Cup, especially at the start, were brutal. In Chennai, with energy sapping.
Hot, yes, yeah. So, the ability to withstand that from a fitness point of view, they call fitness for cricket, understanding fitness for cricket. Now, it's becoming more and more important because of the frequency of games that you're playing. So if you want to play more games and earn money, then better, devote a little bit more to fitness.
Okay, he's 35. Is the great Tendulkar's other record under threat? Because lovely tweet from Sachin Tendulkar earlier, which we mentioned, saying it took me 365 days to get from 49 to 50. He was saying his age, but he's saying, Virat, I hope you do it over the next, 15 days remaining, 2 weeks in this tournament?
Yeah, that's right.
But do you think he can get to 100 international hundreds? He's 22 away? Or do you think that with the one-day format, not very big at the moment in terms of international teams, it's Test cricket, where he really has to sort of...
That's right. You're not going to get too many ODIs, I don't think, between now and the next 4 years. So 29 to 51, that's a lot of...
He'll probably play 8 to 10 tests a year in any case.
Yeah, if he does, I know he likes to play Test cricket. So if he's on the top of his form, he'll go close, I reckon. He'll go close.
You're also looking at what? At his best, he can get, say, 4 or 5 Test hundreds a year. But even to get there, that's what, 79, 20. You need 4 years at his absolute peak.
Yeah, well, he'll give it a go.
He'll give it a
Give
go.
it a red-hot go.
Okay. Another person who gave it a go, especially in the second half of his innings, was Shreyas Iyer. We have to talk about him. Let's get up Shreyas Iyer's wagon wheel because, you know, there's been sort of question marks over him. There have been question marks over him. But we've seen in the last game, and this why India rate him so highly. Didn't start off as good as it looks at the end. I think it was, what, 5 of 20, 21 balls? And then they were having this conversation and decided he goes and not Kohli.
Question marks not from me.
Yeah, not for you?
You know, I knew he was always your number 4. And I also heard coach say
Rahul Dravid said, yeah.
He's our number 4 player, and quite right too. He had a few low scores, like anybody's entitled to, and it was as a result of playing that horizontal shot that he himself doesn't admit to having a problem. I still think there's a little something there, and he'll be tested as he goes along, no question. But for a little fellow, he's got immense power. And
106? 106 metres on that 6?
Yep. A very high level of skill too, on all over the wicket, front foot, back foot, square of the wicket, straight shots is very, very good. So, you know, India needs him to be in a little bit of form every time he goes out to bat, because he's a beauty. He can bat long, he can bat quickly, and he's getting good experience as he goes along.
Okay. What else do we have to talk about? Let's look at what this match has done for the tournament so far. There's also the race to be the top batter and the top wicket taker. I think we have our top batters ready. Quinton de Kock just about holds on to the top spot. Didn't get too many runs today. But Virat Kohli is breathing down his neck. I think 8 runs is the difference?
I can tell you.
Here you go, 550, 7 runs. 7 runs. Rohit Sharma is there as well. Been very consistent, he's been. And David Warner has a chance on Tuesday to sort of add to this when Australia take on Afghanistan. But it's shaping up. At the moment, it looks like a 3-horse race. And we don't know how many matches Ravindra's going to get in the way New Zealand are playing at the moment.
As you expect, all those are in the semi-final, I would think.
Barring Ravindra, there's still a question mark over there.
Yeah.
Bengaluru could rain.
It could, yeah.
And Pakistan could win and go through.
Yeah, that would be typical
Pakistan.
New Zealand, right? Yeah, but also typical New Zealand.
Yep.
Unlucky. Yeah. Look, they're all wonderful players, aren't they, really? I mean, opener, one down, one
They're
down.
all in the top 3.
Yeah, that's
this
right.
is what you told us at the start of the tournament.
That's
Let's
right.
look at that. You said if you're in the top 3, you have the best chance of topping this at the end.
That's right, and there it is.
Yep.
Proof of the pudding.
Back there. Let's look at the top bowlers of this tournament before I take some comments and questions.
Zampa.
It's also a great day for you because it's Sunday, and the way this match gets over, it's time for you to go out and have a bit of a party. You can party, and then you don't need to land up in office on Monday morning, very sleepy. Go enjoy responsibility, if you know what I mean. Zampa 19, what a turnaround from him. Madhu Shankar's got a game in Delhi. I'm going to be at that game tomorrow, hopefully, with a mask on. Jansen, really took a hammering today.
Not today. You got 1 wicket.
Yeah, but he went at about 10. And Shami's up there. 4 games. This tells you a story. 4 games, 16 wickets. I think 3 games to go, he could end up being the top wicket taker.
Everyone's so pleased for him, isn't he? Really, he's got a great story. The way he's come up, and from childhood and boyhood to come to Kolkata, and then look at his pathway all the way to India. Interesting though, 4 of those are pace bowlers.
Yes.
Only the one
we
spinner.
thought in India the spinners would sort of
but again, ones who can swing the ball. 1 left-hander, 2 left-handers.
2 left-handers.
3 left-handers.
3. Madhushankar, Jansen, Afridi. It's the same. Stark's not here, but he's had 2 great World Cups before this.
He's due for a bad one, right?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but good to see Zampa. I was very critical of him in the first couple of games.
Yes, yes, you were.
I feel
so
justified. Yeah, but he's been absolutely pivotal. one of the main reasons why Australia's starting to win. You know, when it comes to the bowling side of things, he's taken the wickets, as you can see, 19 of them. And with the batting, Australia's starting to get their act together over the last few games, and that's why they're rolling along quite nicely.
Okay, time now to take your comments, your questions. This is a segment we called No More with What More. Again, just one request. Give us your names. It's not what more, it's Dab what more. It's not Singhdeo, it's Digvijay Singhdeo. We'd love to call you out. It's just, I have something here from Das. But Das, there are many Dases out there. Which Das? Just give us your full name going forward.
Litton Das.
Litton Das is there as well, yes. I'm from Orissa, lots of my classmates were Dases as well. Okay, he's a joke apart. He's saying the Indian team has performed exceptionally throughout this tournament. Both their batting and bowling has been outstanding. We should appreciate their efforts. Let's give it a clap.
Absolutely, well done.
We have respected it, and we've spoken about how they've been absolutely sensational. The only issue that has stood out in this tournament is DRS. What do you make of that?
DRS.
It's been a bit dodgy. Has DRS got affected by the VAR controversy?
You're talking about
in Liverpool's game? Is it just some technology issues there? Who was that? Van der Dusen, was it? Who was appalled? Or Klaassen, he thought that ball was pitching outside leg.
Yeah, look, also the umpire's call thing will always be a source of discussion. Like there was one today. You know, clearly it had to be out. But it was Paul Rifle, I think, judged it not out, and then the bowling team had to review. It should have been the other way around, you know. Surely when you can see it, well, that's dead, you know. If I make a mistake, it's because...
that was Shami, and he was convinced. He went up straight. And so did the wicketkeeper, KL Rahul. He was convinced, and then it didn't take too long for Rohit Sharma to join the party, but...
the clipping thing is always going to be a bone of contention, you know. You feel... I know I was a coach for many years, and you feel really aggrieved when, you know, when that happens, because it can go in your favour, it can go against you. When it goes against you a few times, you think, we're really angry, you know. So,
Laksh is critical, just on that, Laksh is critical. He's saying it's impossible to beat this Indian team with umpires and DRS supporting them in every decision. This is not a fair tournament. That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, no, the umpires, in good faith, you know, they make decisions in good faith, but sometimes...
Split seconds.
Split second, yeah. But
we have the benefit of hindsight.
But there are some who are really good at it, though. Yeah. You know, others need to improve, though.
Ajay, this is a bit of a cheeky one. Is South Africa now going to be like, thank God we won't face India in the semis? Oh, hang on.
Who said that?
This is Ajay is saying. This is what South Africa will be thinking.
Oh, right.
Thank God we're not playing India in the semis. But then he says, then they realize, oh, hang on. The Aussies are waiting for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it looks like, right? Let's bring up the points table. Do we have the points table? Let's bring up
so
the
there's
points
no
table.
way they can be
no
third?
No.
Fourth? No.
Let's look at this.
Right.
So South Africa are 12 with 1 to go.
Australia can go to 14, though.
Yeah, but even if Australia go to 14, there's nobody else who can get to 12. Can they? Afghanistan can get to 12.
No, you can't. Yeah, Afghanistan can.
Can get to 12.
Yeah.
Pakistan can only get to 10.
Yeah.
New Zealand can only get to 10. So whatever happens, I think South Africa are going to finish...
Second or third.
Second or third.
Yeah. So they will be playing second or third, yeah. 2 and 3.
And they have Afghanistan left. Australia have got Afghanistan and the Netherlands, I think.
I think
so you look at Australia winning at least one of them going to 12.
Yeah.
The Netherlands won.
I reckon they'll probably win both, but
that takes them to 14.
Yeah, and they'd be keen to play South Africa too, I tell you. They'll be really keen to put a few things right.
Especially of that series which happened just before this World Cup.
Yeah, and then this game too, where they handed them the, you know, a gift of batting first.
But looking at this, the team managements of certain teams are now wondering, what the hell did we do?
Yes.
But that, for us, I mean, okay, you are high performance, I'm not, but I mean, just looking at it, I'm wondering, just win the toss and bat first against them. Let them chase. They're not very good at it historically.
Well, you see, at that time, just before the toss, you know what the conditions are. You don't know what the conditions are after dark. And sadly,
was you a factor in this game?
I don't think it
didn't make any difference. No. They were done in the first 10 overs.
Under 30 runs, only 30 overs.
Yeah.
So you make decisions really on what you see. You know, if you're 100% sure it's going to due up really early, then that may be a consideration.
Okay, let's look at something else. Mishita, nice name, Mishita, says, for all those losers who commented on Virat's 101 of 120 balls as slow, just look at the difficult pitch and struggles of the in-form South African batters. Was it really that difficult to pace your innings? What was the right approach on that pitch? What should have been the right approach for them? Attack in the first 10, put India under pressure.
That's right, because spinners, you saw the way they behaved with Jadeja. How can you? It's very difficult. You need to give yourself some semblance of chance by getting a decent amount of runs in that first 10. But again, how much is Bumrah going to give you the hit? How much is Siraj? Maybe Siraj might just weaken a bit.
But if you are going to play to their reputations, then they're going to bowl at their best at your throats. That's what Sanath Jayasuriya did very well. He forced the opposition to alter their lines.
They let them score too much.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Michelle, thank you, Michelle. Shouldn't Kohli, Iyer and Rohit try bowling 4 to 6 overs since India have already qualified? But what about those guys, those 5 you see, 5 bowlers saying, hang on, we want more wickets. We want to go up those charts. Do India now just go next 3 games, these 5, just hope cotton wool, no problems happen. You're not going to see a 6 bowler.
No, you're not.
Except the Netherlands game.
No, if you're resting, if you're looking for just a one-off, and you change your formation a little bit,
Okay, Dikshit. More than our batters, and he's an Indian fan clearly, the bowlers have been more dominant. If they bowl first, the spinners choke the opposition. If they bowl second, the fast bowlers just smoke the opposition. Just lethal in all aspects of bowling. How many teams in your history of sort of being involved in cricket for what now, 50 years? A bit more?
50?
A bit more?
As a player as well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, all inclusive?
Yeah.
How many teams have you seen with this level of consistency, A, in the batting, and B, in the bowling within the same thing? Maybe the West Indies, obviously, that great pace battery, and they had the batters in terms of the great Wave, Clive Lloyd back then. Then go to Australia, 2003. The great teams, I think, the great teams, because you would admit that your Sri Lankan team didn't have the greatest of bowling attacks. It was a good attack.
Spin, more or less.
It wasn't great.
It revolved around spin.
Yes.
Murli,
and then you had Dharmasena, who was there.
Dharmasena, yeah.
Kumar Dharmasena was there.
Yeah.
But I think the Australians, with that bowling lineup, which sort of evolved, and they even ended up with Bracken there.
Gillespie,
McGrath, Gillespie, Brett Lee. I think 99, they had Tom Moody still there.
Batsman.
Yeah, bowled as well.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. But maybe not 99, maybe 2003 and 2007.
But there were some really good teams along the way, but, some. Not, the question was, how often? It's not that often. But
which are the ones you remember? The West Indies, obviously.
Yeah.
The Australians?
Yeah. The ones you just said was pretty much
maybe a great Pakistan team, but a great Pakistan team, I don't remember a great Pakistan team which had the batters and the bowlers fighting together at the same time.
And they always give you something to hit anyway.
Yep.
They're mercurial and they're quick, but they always attack. And when you attack, you're going to give some bad ones, some easy ones to hit as well. So, but the Australian team of some of those eras very miserly too. Glenn McGrath just hardly gave you anything, and he picked up wickets.
Okay. Hina's asking if this is what India did to South Africa, imagine who would like to face India in the semis and the finals. Now, how do teams put this behind them? I mean, these two teams could end up playing the finals. How do teams, and Australia also crumbled first up, and Australia weren't playing that well. New Zealand or Pakistan got hammered as well. These are the 4 or 5 teams in the hunt for the semi-final berth, who India could play either in the semis or in the final?
What's the question? How?
The question is, how do they sort of erase these games or the hammerings they've got against India? How do they erase that from the memory?
Well, you have to be objective about it all. First of all, you're talking about the final or the semi-final?
The semis or the finals.
Okay. Well, if once you know who your opponent is, that's when you really do have to plan as well as you can, and come up with what you think is the correct strategy to win that game, and that it will require a bit of an effort, because you know when you played them the first time, you got beaten, particularly if it's India, you got beaten. So why did we get beaten? We got beaten because of this and this reason. We have to try and put that right. It may come up to the toss, it may come up to batting first, batting second, whatever it is. If in the event of same thing happens, this is the way in which we should do it. You know, we should bowl even better, forget all those extras that I said to you.
22?
More than 3 overs, yeah. Nearly 4 overs. Very close to 4 overs. So we need to, first of all, you know, the first half of the game we need to really nail down. That gives our batters a chance to get the target. If we're batting first, then we know what we can do. But still, it doesn't automatically happen. There's still things that we've done over these last few games that's worked. We need to do that again.
Okay, final question to you before I wrap this. A lot of fans are a bit hesitant. India, by far the best team in this tournament, without a doubt. I think there's no doubt there. But there's always been this ICC jinx. So how do India approach the semi-finals now?
How do they approach? Well,
but will it affect them?
It's another game. That's all it is. I'm sure Dravid and the boys will be saying, boys, it's just another game.
Will this show them highlights of the previous games? This is what you've been doing this tournament, just do the same?
Yeah, in team meetings, at the end of team meetings, most of the time you'll find teams the analysts will come up with a really nice little one and a half minute package on all the good things that have been done by each of the players. You know, and every time a new player comes up doing something, it's a real rousing sort of laughing, you know, noisy thing. It's really good.
And you saw that they're doing that in this World Cup.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They're giving a fielding award.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that's nothing new. We do that.
But it shows the fun. Everyone's involved there.
Yeah, whether you win or lose, you know, you get we appreciate. Yeah. So I think, you know, it's another game. Yes, we know it's a semi-final. We know it's knockout. So what? You know, we don't focus on that. We focus on all these little things. They call it processes, right? You need to, you know, do the things that you have been doing and treat it and enjoy it. It's a huge experience. Enjoy the experience.
And they are enjoying it.
Keep it going.
Okay. I can't go before I read one final comment. It's not a comment to us. We all follow this man, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. This is what he's got to say. Our cricket team is triumphant yet again. Congratulations to the team for a splendid performance against South Africa. Great teamwork. They've also given a great birthday gift to Virat Kohli, who played a lovely innings today. The Prime Minister's happy. So are we.
You send a cake?
I'm not sure. He'll probably do one, Calcutta.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of cake.
Cake, please, for Mr. Kohli.
When they get off the bus and they come in the hotel,
he'll be there.
It'll be there.
I remember when India beat Australia in Australia for the first time.
Yeah.
Not the punt time, the first time when they were struggling. Yeah. And there was Ravi Shastri was there. They came off. Some fans were there. They all started dancing. It meant a lot. Dave Watmore, thank you so much for your time. Yeah. You have an early Sunday let off, not at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. As at times we've had to go long and deep. It's good for us. We can sort of get home. You've had your dinner. I haven't had mine. But thank you for your time and inputs. In fact, because we were just going through what the Indian Prime Minister had to say, let me close by saying Narendra Modi doesn't lose elections, especially in the last 10 years or so. The Indian team isn't losing matches. On that note, goodbye, good night. This is WION World of Cricket.